All right, students of history, let's talk a little bit about chapter 24 in Worlds of History, World War One and its consequences. Excuse me. This week's chapter, the setup is pretty straightforward, but I still want to set it up for just a minute. We've got something like 9 documents, more than that if you include the posters as individual documents. And every one of these documents gives us some clues concerning the causes of World War One and the consequences of World War One. And then keep in mind, whether it's World War One or a fight between your two best friends, right? There's the stuff that's real that caused it, and then there's the stuff that still caused it, but it's not real at all, right? Well, so and so said you said this. Well, I never said that, but they believed it and they got mad over it, right? So perceived causes are also important. So I'm going to go through just a couple of these real quick, just to give you some stuff to look for or look out for as you go through the documents. The Willie Nicky telegrams. All right, this is the Kaiser of Germany, the Tsar of Russia. They are first cousins. They're about to go to war with one another, and they're trying to hash it out. Who says what are the consequences? Who says I can't do things? So keep in mind that, many of the noble families throughout Europe at the time are the grandchildren of Queen Victoria in England. So they're related. That plays its role in this. The World War One propaganda posters we will deal with quite a bit in class, but check them out. How do some of these propaganda posters provide reasons for the war, or at least what we're telling people are reasons for the war, perceptions about the war, and then we'll talk more about the posters in class themselves. Wilfred Owen, I love this poem, and if you guys are not careful, you might get bombarded with more World War One poetry. I think it's pretty interesting. But in his poem, what does he say the causes of World War One are? And what are the consequences for people like him? The memories of the Senegalese soldiers, these are memories of what it was like to have French military recruiters come up in Senegalese villages and recruit people. So what was that recruitment process like? What are they being told the causes of the war are? And from the position of people in the colonies who are recruited to fight for the war, what do they think the consequences of all this are? Same thing with the Zimmerman telegram, causes, consequences of the war. You guys get the idea. I want to talk about the next ones a little bit. V.I. Lenin. He lays out some different ideas about what the causes of the war are. So check that out. And then, of course, one of the consequences is the Russian Revolution itself. That's why we're looking at this document. With Rosa Luxemburg, same thing. Causes of the war, and why does she support the Russian Revolution up to a point and then make her break with it? What does she say some of the consequences has been? The Syrian Congress memorandum is mostly focused on consequences of the war. You've got the Ottoman Empire that is on the losing side of the war. Sorry if that's a spoiler. And they're broken up afterwards. Check out where it is on the map. And what do you think the breakup of that Ottoman Empire may have to do with anything in the 21st century? And then, of course, we have the Treaty of Versailles, the treaty that is supposed to end the war, but is arguably the thing that sets up the next war. So what's up with that treaty? Who gets blamed for what? Who gets what? Again, causes and consequences. Pretty straightforward this week. I'll see you guys in class. Good luck.